Welcome to episode 405 of In Touch with iOS, the show that keeps you on the ever-ending, changing Apple ecosystem. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg. Each week, we break down the latest news, updates, tips, and hidden features across iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Mac, Vision Pro, and Apple TV, all with insights from friends, experts, and the Apple community, because here we read the release notes so you don't have to. Well, another great week is here. Got a great panel. Let's start off with Marty Jencius. How you doing, Marty?
I'm doing well. It's the end of my teaching week, which is always nice to come in here and have these next couple of days where I generally don't have to be on campus and I can do my work here. So it's good to be here, Dave. It's good to be here with all these friends.
Yes, indeed. And Jill McKinley is here. So great to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Good week to be indoors up here in the Northwoods. So yes.
Yes, it is. And we got Eric Bolden's here. How you doing, Eric?
Good. Nice to be here.
As well as Jeff Gamet's. Excuse me, not Jeff Gamet. Guy Serle is here. How you doing, Guy?
Yes, this is Guy Serle pretending to be Jeff Gamet. I've always wondered, am I like a friend or an expert on this show? Or just comic relief?
You're a frexpert.
A
Frexpert. That's it.
Careful how you say that.
You're the release notes reader.
Okay. All right. I'll accept that. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me on, Dave.
Yeah, great. And last but certainly not least, Jeff Gamet is here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right. And Guy, I know what your role is here. You're the eye candy.
Well,
oh God,
I didn't want to brag.
But I know you're so humble, which is why I called it out for you.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be humble when you are just this wonderful.
I know. This is the cross you bear.
It is. Oh, boy. Let's move on. But glad everybody's here. It is extremely cold here in the Midwest, and I think the East Coast as well. Everybody's going to be experiencing some wonderful, either lots of snow or extreme cold temperatures here in the Chicago area. Will be down to about 40 below wind chills tomorrow as we record, as well as in Wisconsin and other places in the Midwest. And so glad you're here to warm up with us and listen to all this great technology discussion about Apple here. So let's go ahead and work our way through here. In touch with Vision Pro this week. It's a little old, but Apple did release the second betas across all of the platforms, including the Apple the Vision OS. It's a beta. It's the beta 2, and we didn't find much as far as any big differences. It's kind of uneventful, I think. Don't you guys think, Marty and Eric?
Yeah, I think the only difference is some effective connections with game controllers. And I've seen that because I have the PSV2 game controllers and had all sorts of trouble connecting them. And they since this update, it's been seamless. And so most of us wouldn't recognize that or know that because we're not gamers playing on it all the time or have the controllers to do it. So yeah, that's the only thing I could see that's new with the beta.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, pretty uneventful this week with the beta for Vision Pro. And it was like I said, nothing too overly exciting. We got the release notes in the notes as well. But let's talk about some other things. Vision Pro is going to be getting some great new arcade games for the Vision Pro, which is kind of cool. This is going to be Apple Arcade adding another 4 games on Thursday, February 5th. So it's coming up here in a couple weeks. Complete details about each game is in Apple's announcement. And it's called the Retrocade. It's going to allow Apple Vision Pro users to play classic arcade games like Asteroids, Pac-Man, Breakout, Galacta, and Space Invaders in an immersive 3D environment, complete with leaderboards, daily challenges, and more. It'll also be available for the iPhone and the iPad. So the arcade version of the popular games is Sid Meier's Civilization 7 is also coming to Apple Arcade next month across the Mac, iPad, and iPhone only. But that's another award-winning game. So a bunch of other games are coming, but the key to this is, I think, is it's exciting. Going to be interesting to see how those games look on the Vision Pro. Don't you think, Eric?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I haven't seen those games in
me either.
Quite a while.
Civilization's the best.
I want them to do Pac-Man 4D, where they're actually chasing you.
Coming out of the screen at you, right?
The cool thing about the Vision Pro version of this is it's putting the whole box console in your living room.
Yeah.
The other ones on the iPad that they're making available, that's all cool, but this will, you can set up your own bar and play Civilization till you pass out. And I guess the idea is you can also walk around the console and see the artwork and the other sort of things that you remember from it. So it really is a different deployment for Vision Pro than just slapping an iPad screen on your Vision Pro.
I'm actually kind of disappointed then. I thought by immersive, it meant that when you're sitting there flying your little asteroids pew pew ship around, the wireframe asteroids are actually moving around you. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be so cool.
Just don't run out of virtual quarters.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, yeah.
So some exciting games coming up here. So last thing I want to hit on really quickly here is we've been talking about this for a number of weeks now, but we didn't really get to hit it here, is the Lakers game that was an immersive game. And it was kind of an ordeal to when were you going to be able to watch it, how are you going to watch it, and so on and so forth. So they did it on January 9th, after we recorded this, and it was a pretty interesting thing. It was limited to just Spectrum in the Southern California area and Nevada and just on those areas only. But after the game ended, they opened it up to everybody, so you could have the NBA app on your Vision Pro and be able to watch it, which was kind of cool. My first impression of it was the fact that it was very cool for the most part, but I was disappointed with not being able to hear the ball dribble too much. I mean, you're right on the court. I want to hear all that. I mean, they obviously have some work as far as getting microphones and sound connected really close to the action. I mean, when they were doing the pregame warm-ups, they had the camera on the back of the basket, and you can look up. I was looking up, and you could see the arm going across to where the basket is, and you're looking down, and then I'm watching LeBron James tossing the ball back and forth to his ball boy. And I watched the game for a while, and I thought it was a good experience for the most part. I think it's something for the future, really. How did you experience it, Marty?
I think it had its hiccups getting into it. Like I did not have the NBA app on my headset because I'm not a basketball Jones. I had so I had to add it. So I didn't run into the trouble that people who already had the app on ran into. And so that was the hiccup because people had to update their apps. And so I think, this first run through was great. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed watching the game and also trying to be part of the game with the way it is. But I think this will start to be much easier for people to do now that they've gone through this first round.
Yeah. So, Eric, same thing.
Yeah, and as well as there are a few people that actually had to delete the app and then download it again. Just updating it didn't seem to work. But they did. They came out with a couple revisions. They seem to be somewhat responsive in reading feedback from users who are getting frustrated, and it improved. So that was a good sign. The sound. Yeah, there was some issues there. I heard some people wondering if it was adjustments so that you couldn't hear everything, so that they didn't have to worry about muting people who are maybe using words that couldn't be broadcast to everyone, or that you wouldn't hear coaches speaking if you shouldn't be able to hear them speaking. But I don't know. I think the games will continue to improve. They'll get better at it. And once they work out all of the little details, I'm guessing they should be able to expand into other games and other stadiums.
Yep. So
Any surprise that they made you download the NBA app so that they could nag you, do stuff with it?
No.
Yeah.
Not at all. So I think more so the point is there's more to come with this immersive technology. I'm excited about it, and for those of you who like sports, some people here don't. Still wouldn't excite him as much, but it's a nice experience. That's for sure. So.
And it was kind of interesting also, when the announcer would say something about, well, I'm not sure if that ball was in or if it was out. And in the Vision Pro, you could see where the ball hit on the floor because you were right there. And the announcers were looking from the side. You were looking from basically right there and knew. They went, reviewed the video footage, looked at it and said, oh, yep, that was in. So that was kind of a nice element.
Yeah.
So the referee should have Vision Pros now instead of just being there.
Yeah. Then they'll even be more blind. Yeah. So, all right, let's move a little bit on to In Touch with Mac this week. MacBook Pros are starting to be a little thin on stock here, facing up to a 2-month wait ahead of new models. This was a couple days ago. They talked about this. The availability on the online store has been they're showing here that it's March 10th to March 17th, which is quite a ways out. So I know there's been a lot of rumor about the fact that potentially Apple might be releasing new Macs, the MacBook Pro M5 Pro and M5 Max, which is a possibility. They'll be holding back out. But then if that's through Apple, I mean, I've seen it on Amazon and other places that they still have plenty of stock of the M5 models. So this exciting time here because I think Apple is going to be making some announcements. They got to be. There's all these rumors. I'm not going to cover too many rumors this time around here, but it's going to be nice. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for an M5 Pro. But then you got to go back out there, and there's articles out there talking about, you better wait for the M6 Pro now. If we keep waiting, you'll never buy a Mac. I guess. I'm ready. I mean, I have an M1. I think it's time. In my case, but Jeff, what do you think on this?
I knew you were going to ask me. I know you. I'm with you. New Macs are on the horizon, but that's a safe bet. New Macs are always on the horizon. It's just a matter of how close are we to that horizon. Right. I think that's part of the problem, and I have a hypothesis that there's a compounding issue here. So TSMC makes these processors for Apple. Apple is no longer TSMC's biggest customer. That has moved on to NVIDIA, which means NVIDIA now gets priority for chip making. Apple might be waiting longer to get their orders delivered because there's so much going to NVIDIA right now.
Yep.
Well, it's all the AI stuff that's happening. I mean,
exactly.
It's sucking up all the hardware from A to Z. So when that happens, I mean, this isn't dissimilar to what happened with IBM and Apple when in the G series processors, where Apple was like, look, we need a G5 processor to put into the MacBook or MacBook Pros. And they were like, yeah, well, you're not a big priority for us. And, that a lot of that was what led to the ending of the PowerPC Alliance. So, goodbye IBM. And now here we are. Who is it that Apple can drop? They can't drop anybody because TCST, that company. Go ahead.
I know spelling is hard. TSMC.
TSM is holding the majority of the marbles for Apple as far as the M and probably the A series processors as well. And for once, Apple doesn't really have a fallback. So, as AI started to rise and all of this hardware started getting sucked down for data centers, that was the time to start looking for alternative sources for companies to make chips for them. And I guess they didn't do it. But now, at least, the next time we get an Apple computer, when it's a $200 update or upgrade for more RAM, we can go, okay, that's not so bad.
How about you, Eric?
There's so many choices, and the machines keep working. So I'm kind of feeling like whenever the MacBook Air updates, I'll look at that, and whenever the Mini updates, I'll look at that.
Are you interested at all in the potential A17 Pro MacBook? If that is a real product?
Maybe. Because I'm finding I need one machine that it doesn't have to be very powerful. It just has to have Mac OS on it. It doesn't even need any space. I'm just using it as a terminal and a keyboard, so that it shows up in my Vision Pro when I'm out and about. So it's weird. I mean, I always used to go for the fastest machine I could get my hands on. I'm not really I'm looking forward to trying it. Possibly, something might tempt me, but I just have been really impressed with how long these machines have lasted without my feeling like I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah.
I have no problem with my M1. It's still working. I'm still happy with it. It can keep up with everything I'm throwing at it.
Yep. Marty, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I to Guy's question, I'm kind of interested in the as A17 or A18 chip MacBook, because it's I think geared, or the rumor is it's geared towards the educational market. I would like something small and portable that I can go back and forth from work with, where I can do essentially my work stuff. I'm not going to be doing video editing or audio editing at work.
Right.
I'm going to be doing it here at home. So the idea of that form factor is interesting to me. Any advance in chips right now, it's sort of like, you got to give me something else, because everything's so fast for what I do it for. Going up to another M number, you got to do something with the form factor. You got to throw in an extra port. You've got to do something with the device to make it worth beyond just the jump in the M chip, because that current speed is just fast enough for me right now for the stuff that I do.
Okay, Jill?
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about the chip situation, and we saw Corsair get out of the RAM business, and more are doing that. But I also think too, in the PC market, PCs are dropping like leads. People are not buying PCs other than workplaces anymore. Now we have gaming boxes, and Macs have increased, and I think we're going to see a shakeup in the who we get these from, and they're going to have to build some new alliances, I guess, if everyone's going to go and start building AI chips. But I did once have an 8-inch Hewlett Packard laptop. You would like, Marty. It was just so little and it fit in everything. And
You mean it was a netbook?
it was a full-blown Windows. It was full-blown Windows.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really awesome, but it was tiny, and I loved having it. So when you said that, I kind of made me think of those days. But yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I've had the M1 chip forever, and that my friend has now, and she's having a great time with it. And yeah, they last. But then again, I have a 2011 Windows machine sitting down here to play Diablo on, and it works just fine. But it's not as good as the Macs as resilience.
Running Windows 10, right?
Oh, I made the mistake of updating it to 11, and now I'm unhappy.
Slower.
Can I say one more before we go away?
Yeah, go ahead, Guy.
On the G-Man podcast this week, it was just released on Wednesday. We were talking about this very subject, and the fact that the cost of hardware, because AI server farms are sucking up as much of it as they possibly can, means two things. Number one, all computers, especially Macs, are likely to become more expensive. Number two, chances are people are going to wait before they refresh their Macs and their iPhones and everything else, because just as you guys have been saying, if it's just a minor update in speed for a device that's already fast or faster than anything that you're using it for, what's the point? So I think people will start hanging on to their computers even longer. And fortunately for Mac users, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Macs retain their usefulness, I would say 4 to 7 years out after purchase. So you can't necessarily say that about other platforms without naming those other platforms.
Will Apple ever produce their own chips? I mean, besides designing them, will they go into
You mean build a
manufacturing?
fab?
Pardon?
You mean like building fabs?
Yeah.
I don't think they will. That is such a huge cost to build a fab and to get it running and everything else, that it's easier for Apple and for, honestly, Intel and pretty much everybody else to just say, oh, okay, I need X number of x86 processors. I need X number of M and A series processors. So, why should Apple invest the billions necessary to build a fab that, by the time it gets built and by the time it gets tested and by the time the output is reliable, we may be past this problem of not having enough capacity. So they've sunk a lot of money into a fab that they probably won't need by the time it's built.
We've seen other
Guys,
companies increase their production, in the
Sorry?
past year. So
I didn't hear you, Jill. What did you say?
Oh, sorry. I was saying we've seen a number of companies say that they're increasing their production of chips overall, because we also ran into the car problem. That
Yes.
cars couldn't get chips. And so we see a number of manufacturers increasing their production, but where the money is in AI, and they're going to keep following it.
Yeah, until that's not a thing anymore, or it's not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. Which episode is that for the G-Men show there, guy?
Oh, 22.
Okay, that hasn't been published yet, though, right?
No. It came out Wednesday morning. That is called G-Men Show 22 is the Refresh Dead, with special guest Carl Madden.
Got it. We'll make sure we link that in the show notes. So let's go on and move on to some of the other topics this week. I don't know if we'll put this in our notes. It's about the major data breach could expose Apple's secrets. A major ransomware attack on Luxshare, one of Apple's most critical manufacturing partners, allegedly exposed over 1 terabyte of confidential data from the iPhone giant and other tech behemoths. Stolen information in the Luxshare breach was including product designs, engineering documents, employee information going back to 2019 through 2025. Ouch. This is it's going to expose some of these Apple product files. It was carried out by Ransom Hub, a notorious ransomware group that has been actively targeting major corporations. This was according to a report from Cyber News. It was back in December. And again, the article goes through a lot of stuff that was stealed, including CAD designs and circuit board layouts and all this kind of stuff. The implications could breach well beyond the corporate espionage. Security experts warn that the stolen engineering files could enable malicious actors to reverse engineer Apple products, and they could manufacture convincingly counterfeits and identified hardware vulnerabilities to exploit those attacks. I'm not sure. Anybody here on this panel post this? But
I'm sorry, it was me, and I should have told you I did it. I did.
Okay, okay, Jill. Then this is your story. Tell us about it.
Well, exactly what you said, but it made me think of that. We trust Apple and we trust Apple's security and to have our data, but it also means that you have to trust every vendor they have and every vendor that vendor has, and it becomes impossible. I've been in part of my insurance got hacked and our medical records got leaked. My company got hacked and my HR records got leaked. And you can't just trust your company. You got to trust your company who they trust. And it unfortunately is not a trustworthy world. And this is terrible.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Yeah. Big surprise.
Shock.
This is a case of not so much a data breach as far as Apple users go, but Apple as a corporation. So, yeah, there is the possibility that they could reverse engineer and create convincing Apple products. But what we don't know is how deep the hack went. Is it like the latest things or just stuff from 2019 and 2020? Because if it is, then by the time they reverse engineer it and create cases and create circuit boards and start to roll out production, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, I'm an optimist. I'm holding out for that Apple car that they stole. And you know, I've been wanting that air power device for so many years now that if they stole that stuff and produced it, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, just send those files to GM. There
There you go.
Not GM.
No, if anyone was going to screw it up, it would be GM.
Right.
Yeah, they have experts on screwing things up.
They really, really do.
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
The counterfeit devices, I'm not as concerned about that as I am about rogue states and professional hacker organizations getting a hold of this information, because that's invaluable when you go to come up with systems to hack into secure devices. So I could see all of these companies that market products to get into locked encrypted iPhones just going crazy to get a hold of this. Also saying, "Hey, here's our ransom, pay this." And don't worry, we won't share any of this information after that. Come on, it's out there. That's it. If they're going to break in and steal your data, how can you trust them when they say, "Don't worry, we'll delete it now that you've paid us $20 kajillion"?
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
It is
Well,
not.
I'll tell you one thing, is when my company got hacked, they were saying, "We have all the employees' ID. We're going to release it to the internet. You got to pay us." And they're like, "No, we're not paying you." And they released all our data to the internet, to the dark web. Then some inappropriate pictures came out from some very high up people. And they said, "You better pay us or these are going to go out." The company paid. Those pictures never got out. But they said, "Oh, we deleted all the health data of your employees too." But it was out there.
It was already out there.
Yeah.
But those pictures never got out there. So, I mean, I'm like, integrity on the basis of blackmail hackers?
I have
Yeah,
a funny
those
story
pictures
that I
are still out there. They may not be distributed, but
Yeah.
someone still has those.
Someone has them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, at least
Let's go ahead.
these people
last
didn't get
word.
caught at a Coldplay concert. That's all I'll say.
Oh, good one.
doesn't that violate the Geneva Convention?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
All right, so, let's move on here and let's talk about Walmart. Walmart still doesn't accept Apple Pay in the U.S. into 2026, and here's why. This was noted over the weekend that Walmart is not accepting contactless payment options like Apple Pay at more of its 4,500 stores across the U.S., and there's no indication that they're going to be changing this anytime soon. It is not just Apple Pay that's affected. Walmart does not allow customers to use Google Pay or Samsung Pay, and you cannot tap a credit or debit card either. In other words, the NFC functionality on their payment terminals is turned off. It's far from the first time that we've reported this, that they reported this topic, but Walmart has still not changed course despite the endless customer complaints. Last year, a Walmart spokesman had talked about the fact that the retailer remained focused on its own payment technologies in the Walmart app, Walmart Pay, and Scan and Go, but these options are not as convenient as a one-tap Apple Pay. And using the Walmart Pay, customers must own a payment card in the Walmart app and then scan a QR code displayed on the checkout to complete the payment. This allows systems to that Walmart to track customers' purchase history, learn their habits, and which is most likely to be the underlying reason why they do this. No surprise here, fellers and
Most
ladies.
likely?
I am
Seriously? Most likely?
Yeah.
No, this is the reason. They want to control all the data. They want to collect everything they can.
Well, there's
And
more
if you
to
use
it.
tap to pay, they can't.
If they control the method of payment, then they don't have to share the pie with anyone else other than, of course, whoever owns the actual credit card that the person has put into the Walmart app. But this just gives them more control, more data, and it's a big reason why I avoid Walmart like a broken thumb.
Yep. Before we move on, let's say hello everybody in the chat at youtube.com/intouchwithios. Got Witherbucket and Cletus is there, and we saw Webb earlier, and we saw Brian earlier, and we saw a number of other great people in the chat, and notably Witherbucket just said this comment. He says, I only knew about Walmart because I just have stuff to buy at Home Depot. Okay. And then Cletus says, well, neither does Home Depot. They don't do it either. So
Well, Home Depot does.
They changed.
Well,
they just,
I think they take tap, but I don't think they take Apple Pay.
But they don't do Apple Pay, I don't think.
But I think
sure
that's
I paid
the whole
with
thing.
Apple
Is
Pay when I had to go in. But anyhow.
everyone's figuring out how to trim.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, even if they've moved to at least accepting tap and pay, that's a big improvement right there. I can do what I don't want to have to do is insert my card into something without knowing whether that reader has been compromised or not.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is everyone's figuring out, Google figured out I can sell all this data. Everyone is looking at these corners they can all nibble at to try to get more data, to save more money or to be able to do something with it. And this, I think, is going to get a lot worse.
Oh, yeah, Walmart. What are you going to do? I mean, I shop at Sam's Club all the time. Their scanning roads, their service works great. I use their credit card because it's bundled into with my membership, so it works fine for me. I'm good with that. Get a lot of points and dollars.
Costco. I got
Costco,
a
same thing.
Costco card only because it makes it easier to use their gas pumps.
Yep, and 5% back's coming. They just noticed that. So let's go ahead and hit another story here. Apple has topped the smartphone market with a 20% share, 10% growth. What happened was with a 10% year-over-year shipment growth, the highest among the 5 brands. This is from Counterpoint Research. Global smart shipments grew 2% year-over-year in 2025, making it the second consecutive year of growth. Centerpoint said the market was driven by consumers taking advantage of the financing options to upgrade premium to premium devices, increasing the adoption of 5G devices. Samsung ranked second behind Apple with a 19% share and a modest 5% growth, and others. So I guess you looked at the bar graphs here. They show where Apple is. They've had quite a bit of growth. Are we surprised? I would not say so for the most part, but this is worldwide too, because Apple's kind of fell behind worldwide. U.S., of course, they're pretty dominant. But what do you think, Jeff?
Growth like this worldwide, that's significant. So go Apple. Keep in mind, though, this doesn't mean that Apple is the single largest smartphone. Wow, I talked myself into that sentence backwards. The iPhone is not the single largest phone market share. Still bad sentence, but anyhow, Apple does not have the largest market share worldwide. That's still an Android thing. But when you break it down by brand, Apple is coming in at 20% globally. That is pretty significant. So go Apple.
And when you look at it from the case of, Apple is the only company that not only manufactures their phones, but also controls the OS, with the possible exception, of course, of the Pixel phones.
Yep. Marty, you got anything to add on this?
No, I'm just excited about the growth. I tried to do a connection to a Fortune article that came out just yesterday that places Apple for the 19th year in the top companies, number one in companies of world's most admired companies list. And I know we've talked about that in the past. So it goes along line with the types of products they're creating.
All right. Eric, last word. You want to add anything?
No. It's been well covered.
You're just afraid to try after I completely butchered trying to make sentences.
Like, I don't want to put your sentence.
You know, I had a thought, and I just saw this big foot in my mouth, and
Yeah,
No,
and
it
you
was
didn't want to
let
pull a
it go.
Jeff. I get
Yes.
it.
There you
All right. So I added this article just for Marty because he loves patents, and so do we. Apple dropped to 7th in U.S. patent rankings in 2025 as grants fall 11%. This was a per report. A new report shows that U.S. patent activity continues its multi-year decline in 2025. Apple dropping to 7th place, receiving 2,722 grants and an 11% decrease over 2024. And the 6th consecutive year that they did the yearly report, and according to the report, the U.S. saw 393,000 patent applications in 2025. That's 8.6 decline, as well as patent grants slipped. U.S., Japan, and China were among the top countries in a number of U.S. granted patents, while Taiwan saw the highest growth rate, over 12%. And it got rankings where everybody is. Samsung is at number 1. And Taiwan, TSMC, we're just talking about, they're number 2, and Apple dropped down to 6th. So even Dell's there on the top 10 at number 9, and LG at number 10. So any thoughts on this at all, Marty?
Yeah, I saw this a couple of days ago, and the only way, I'm curious what the other companies have been putting out as patents and what they've been putting out patents on. What we've seen, and we talk about it on Vision Profiles on Monday nights when they come up, and of course you can look at Patently Apple and see the other things that Apple's doing in terms of product. They all seem to be kind of design focused and focused on what potential products will look like. I'm not sure what Samsung's putting out, what TSMC is putting out, or Qualcomm in terms of patents. But the stuff that Apple's putting out seems very structural and very applied to the devices that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a flourish of them a couple of weeks ago, and they all seem to be focused on Vision Pro and or the glasses. And I think they had another set that has come out in the last couple of weeks. So they seem to go in waves by department, but all of them, if you're interested in reading them, really are about structural applications to current products or proposed future products. I just haven't looked at Samsung ones or at TSMC or Qualcomm.
There is a link to the full report from IFI Claims. It's the link is in that article in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else anything to add with the?
Well, considering that Samsung makes refrigerators, washer, dryers, and even
TVs.
boats, TVs, even boats that ship all of their stuff from China to the U.S., the fact that they have more patents, if you include all of that stuff, doesn't really surprise me.
No.
I found it interesting that it said that IBM was trying to avoid just submitting patents to get their patent numbers up, and they were trying to do it in a more focused way. That seems kind of interesting. I'm not sure if it's an excuse or a real strategy. I'm a little bit worried with Apple that with their kind of turnover of teams and rearrangement of teams and rating of their teams by other companies, that some of the people that would normally churn out patents are just stuck doing something else for a while. And, maybe there'll be a pause before that happens again as the teams get reassembled.
Yeah. I
Yep.
was part of a company a couple decades ago that decided to go on a patent craze, and they hired a big team of people. That whole job, and some of the patents were a widget on the right side of the screen that picked a date. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And, patenting things that were very tiny. And first of all, like you said, Samsung makes a ton of things, but, Dell also makes a ton of things. But they have to compete in the Windows world with HP, Dell, all these different computers. And so they're like, "Oh, I made a sound switch on the side of the monitor so that my monitor is better than HP's monitor," or something like that. They're minuscule, and it seems to me that when I've seen Apple's patents, they are big, they are quality of life, they are moving the industry forward, and they aren't these little things. And so that's what it struck me. It sort of reminded me of what my old company was doing with what my, newer software company was doing, where it wasn't patenting anything. It was like, if we did it, it was something monumental. So I don't know. It's a point of view, not just an industry thing.
Yeah, the problem is there are so many garbage patents out there that companies need to protect themselves and also put in garbage patents just so that they won't come back and, HP starts suing Dell because, oh, well, we had a patent on a volume switch on the side of the monitor before you did. And it's like, did you ship a product? Did you ship a product? If you didn't ship a product, then don't tell me about your patents.
Yep.
Mm.
I agree.
All right. I'm looking at this not on a per company basis, but by the bigger numbers. So the report says that patent applications are down 8.6% in 2025. And yeah, that seems to me like it's could be indicative of something else. So, have companies become more conservative with the money they're investing in R&D, and that's impacting the number of patents they're applying for? Or is what's behind this overall decline in patents?
Exhausted.
And yeah, politics, economy, I don't know, but
It's that we're at the point now, and we've touched on this before. We're at the point now where the devices that we have are just so freaking fast and so freaking great that it's hard to figure out, well, what's the next step with this same type of equipment. And companies are having a hard time on improving a laptop. They're having a hard time on improving a desktop, improving a monitor, improving keyboards and mice and trackballs and all the rest of that, because they're about as good as they're going to get. You might be able to put a slightly faster chip in it, or you may be able to have different colored lights on the bottom of your trackball or whatever. But for the most part, it's like you can't reinvent the wheel. The wheel exists and it's kind of a perfect thing. So they're having trouble with coming up with new ideas to package with the same old, same old.
wasn't there a point in the late 1800s where they considered shutting down the patent office because they didn't think there was anything else that could be invented?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And look at us now.
This is
Yeah.
because
Well, I had one other thought too, is because Apple is behind in AI, how many of these patents are AI related? Is it
that's
possible too, because they're not innovating in AI yet, that they
Mhm.
don't have any of them? I don't know.
Although
Yep.
you can't really say they're not innovating in AI, just not like conversational AI that people want. The stuff
or
they're doing in
yeah,
image searching and that kind of stuff is really
background.
pretty good.
Yeah. But it's not flashy. It's not like, you're using it to make graphics for your next podcast, he said, knowing that that's exactly what he does. So, it's difficult. It's difficult because there are product trends. And right now, the product trend is toward AI. Yeah, every single thing that you see on TV these days, I'm surprised that we don't see commercials from McDonald's talking about AI hamburgers. So, until the next thing comes, and I don't think AI is the next thing to come, that we're kind of at a stall right now, and we're waiting for the jet engines to catch up.
Yep. All right. I did put the link in the show notes that Marty mentioned about from Fortune magazine about Apple again for the 19th year is the most admired company. We already know this because we love Apple. It's been 19 years. So check that out. That's there. So let's move on to some of the news this week. I'm excited about this, that Apple did score 6 Academy Award nominations for, including Best Picture for their feature F1 and the Best Documentary feature from Come See Me in the Good Light. And hailing from Apple Studios, F1 lands that Best Sound Effects, Visual Effects, and Best Editing. The Lost Bus also got a Best Visual Effects nomination. I think the sound, they have a big shot of that, the sound and visual effects. So F1 that was really good with that. Best Picture, there's a lot of good new movies in that category. It's going to be tough. I just don't see it. But that's exciting to see. Apple has broke out and has some great things with coming with Apple TV and some of the great movies. So I got to enjoy it earlier this year, watching it in the theater with IMAX. It was great. I'm sure there's going to be more to come. I still want an immersive version of that movie, darn it. But who knows? We'll see when that happens. Anybody happy to hear about this?
Happy to hear about it.
I'm glad to hear about it.
Happy to hear about it. Don't think they have a chance in hell of winning Best Picture.
No
way. No,
but the irony is there's a lot of other pictures that are up for Best Picture, and I'm like, there's...
I've not been impressed with the other Best Pictures. Not that I think F1 is going to win, but I've not been all that impressed.
Yeah, no, you know how it is, how it goes. The Academy votes. Then Apple revealed the first look at season 5 of the globally acclaimed hit space drama For All Mankind. So we got season 5 coming out. Woo! Mm-hmm. That's coming out Friday, March 27th on Apple TV. They got the premiere date, and there's a teaser from that, and it'll be on every Friday through May 29th. And this is kind of exciting. It's been hit or miss with me getting into for All Mankind. I started this first season was kind of rough for me. Maybe I need to go back and catch up, but I would have a lot of binge watching to do because I don't think I went through all the seasons. So
I really liked the first 2 seasons, and then it's
same.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah, I gave up on it partway through season 3.
Yep.
And I won't do any spoilers, but there was an episode where it's like every decision that every character made was completely out of character and completely ridiculous and clearly done just to move the story forward to the climactic point that they wanted to get us to. And it made the climactic point completely unbelievable. And I didn't even wait for the end credits to start. I just shut it off and I was done. And I haven't been back since. And I've had some people tell me, oh, but the rest of the season was so great. The next season, it was so great. And we're so excited for this new season. Okay, the trailer was cool with the motorcycle. I don't know if they've convinced me to go back and get caught up.
Yep.
I've watched them all.
We'll see.
And I'm current
There's
on
so
it.
much to watch right now. I finished Pluribus, so I'm happy with that. That was amazing.
Oh, good. Oh my God, it was so.
That was it was so good. And of course, we got Star Trek, Starfleet Academy.
Starfleet Academy.
I'm liking it.
Yeah,
Guy doesn't like it.
I don't like
so
it.
there's plenty of shows out there to watch. Don't worry.
I'm giving it a
there's
chance.
So much out there.
I watched the
You've got it.
episode.
First episode was a little rough, but I got through it. And the second episode was pretty amazing.
I love everything Holly Hunter is in, and I couldn't watch it.
Yeah, Holly Hunter's amazing.
Yeah.
But I can't watch it.
Well, okay. Well, then maybe as a consolation, the trailer for the new Darth Maul series dropped today. And
there you go.
And it's animated. It's part of the whole Clone Wars storyline. So it fits in with the Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and which some of the best Star Wars ever written, and now a whole Darth Maul focus series.
Is it pre or post being split into two?
It's post, because this is all after the fall of the Republic and at the beginning of the rise of the Empire.
Yeah.
So sort of like where Mandalorian falls in.
Right. Okay.
I'm pushing Hijack.
Yeah, that's right. You've been talking about Hijack.
You haven't seen season 1, see that, and then season 2 just started. And I guess Fallout's back too.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Or next month.
That's good.
Yeah, there's just so much great content on Apple TV. We're just
Isn't Monarch coming back soon?
Yes. Yes.
That's what Cletus asked.
Yeah. Giant.
Oh, well, then to answer your question, Cletus, yes, soon.
Yes. Thanks, Cletus. Yep. But next story here, I wanted to hit on ChatGPT Atlas. It gained tab groups, auto Google, and AI search switching. OpenAI has been rolling out another noteworthy update in the ChatGPT Atlas browser. It's an AI-powered browser for the Mac only. So the release notes have the latest build talking with tab groups, allowing with users to organize their browsing sessions more efficiently. The update also brings fixes to the vertical tab and mini mode and simplifies right-click content for the tabs, menu tabs, context menu tabs. And on the search front, Atlas now features auto mode where it automatically switches between ChatGPT and Google depending on the query. That's kind of nice. And then search results UI also has been refreshed with a new vertical layout that's more prominent in the display here. Elsewhere in the updates, Safari users migrating to Atlas will now be prompted to install the Cloud Passwords extension during their onboarding. So, again, we got another browser here. Has anybody used Chat using ChatGPT Atlas?
I have tried it, and it's a good browser. It seems to do everything that I would expect from a browser. As far as, I think the one kind of cool feature was a sidebar search feature, I think, that it had, which I found to be, because basically you've got a permanent sidebar over on I think it's on the right hand side, and any links that are over there, when you click on them, the search doesn't go away, but it updates the main page. So you're not having to go back and forth between your search results or opening new windows or all the rest of that. You basically just hit the link in the sidebar and it opens up over to the side from where your search results are, and the search results stay there.
Yeah. I use it, have been using it too. I just keep forgetting to use it.
Yeah.
And so I want to use it more, but I just forget because I've had such a good experience with ChatGPT. So I will.
But does anybody know if it's Chromium compatible? So all of the stuff that works with Chrome will work with Atlas?
I think it's a Chromium-based browser.
It's Chromium-based.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay.
There's go ahead, Jeff.
I've been trying all the different AI browsers, and it's actually pushed me to hunt for browsers now that don't have AI built into the browser itself, and which I was not expecting. But like right now, I'm using Helium because one of its core things is there's no AI in the browser itself. And I can go to the AI platforms that I want to use and use them, but I've discovered that I don't want it as a core element in the browser itself.
Yep.
I just asked Atlas if it was Chromium based, and it said no.
Oh, that's right. It isn't.
Oh, it isn't? So what is it then? I thought they were all doing Chromium.
No.
We'll have Jill on it so she can.
It just says it's just a model that runs inside a ChatGPT in a different environment. So it just seems to be ChatGPT. Doesn't execute JavaScript, doesn't do that. So I asked it what extensions it has, and it says I don't have extensions.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
All natural.
Then then finally, a news story this week. It just came out not even an hour ago as we record here. 1Password launched an anti-phishing warnings for pasted passwords. They announced a launch of the new phishing protection feature that is meant to act as a second pair of eyes, quote unquote, before users provide their password to scammers. The 1Password will not autofill a username and password on a website that is spoofing another as a layer of protection, but users can get around that by manually retrieving their usernames and passwords. I hope you're not going around it if it's not a good website. And to add further protection when a user attempts to paste their username and password into a website, the 1Password browser extension will display a pop-up warning that prompts them to pause and use caution before continuing. 1Password hopes the warning will cause users to take a second, more careful look at the website before proceeding. That's nice. The phishing protection feature will be turned on by default. I don't know if I can agree with that. For individual and family plan users, while 1Password admins can turn it on for employees. This protection is rolling out today as we record this. Is this something you would like, Jeff, to have enabled automatically? I don't want a choice.
I want a choice. Having it enabled automatically, though, does kind of make sense.
It does. It does.
But I mean, I haven't had a chance to check this out yet at all.
It just got announced, so it's new.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that there's a setting where I can disable this if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, based on what 1Password is supposed to be doing, it kind of makes sense to have it enabled by default.
Yeah.
Anybody here not use 1Password?
I don't use it anymore.
I gotta say, I have an account. I had it turned on as a method for filling in passwords and stuff, and it began to feel so intrusive that I shut it off. Now it still has all my passwords. I can go in there and get it if I need it, and I have gone when I've forgotten things from the past that I need to get back in, but I'm not using it in anything more than a bank for some of my passwords.
So are you using a password manager at all? Like Apple's?
Apple. I mean,
okay.
I'm pretty much using Apple and passkeys.
Okay.
I have maybe done something wrong, but Keychain has annoyed me in 57 different ways when I've been browsing the internet, and I don't know why, and it just seems to run over everything, and it runs over 1Password, so I have gone back to using 1Password exclusively for passwords, and I think this is smart, because a lot of people are going to say, well, why shouldn't I use the Google thing? Why shouldn't I use the Apple thing? And this provides an extra value. I'm gonna watch your back. Or, I'm going to check it ahead of time. And this is a thing that will keep 1Password relevant.
It's also platform agnostic.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true, because it's Electron.
Yep. So I am a big fan of this. And I'm a big fan of it being turned on by default, because we all have the people we help in our lives with computers who aren't computer people, and they are getting hit all the time.
Yep. All right. One last story. Got a little extra time here. I don't hit on before we wrap up here. Apple's John Termes has taken over design in latest CEO succession move. John Termes has now been overseeing the Apple design team since late last year as Apple continues to prepare him to take over as CEO. Reports Bloomberg, I'm sure it was our pal, the Germinator, and Apple's CEO Tim Cook has put Termes in charge of the designs teams in the final months of 2025, expanding his responsibilities. Apple's software and hardware design teams were mostly recently managed by former Apple Chief Operating Officer Jeff Williams, who retired back last year. Apple said that the design teams would report directly to Cook, but Cook apparently handed that reins to Termes. He is apparently going to be the executive sponsor of all design on Cook's management team, which means he's handling communications between design staff and the executive team. He represents the design team in executive gatherings, managers, and design team leaders. And they go through a lot of the things that the sources are saying that he aims to expose Termes to more parts of the business company's operations and design and all that stuff. But of course, we all know that Apple. Tim Cook just turned 65 last year, and he's more likely is the candidate. He will be the youngest CEO a youngest senior executive at 50 years old. He's got a long life ahead of him working for Apple if he does get this. So, start with you, Marty. What do you think about this?
It's exciting. I don't get freaked out by transitions or changeovers. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. To hear that Tim Cook is retiring at 65 or might be retiring at 65.
Yeah,
I'm 68. I don't want to retire. So
I don't either. I'm 60.
This kind of
I would
hits.
go today.
If you could.
Marty, if you had your own private island, you'd probably be more inclined to think, I could retire. I don't know if Tim Cook has his own private island.
I don't know.
Like he couldn't have one.
He might have three for all we know.
Now, if it was a private island and I was designing dinosaurs on it, that might be a different story.
Yes, it would. Just, don't scrimp on your IT team budget.
I'll say this, and I said it, I think, at MacStock too. I probably would not have gone to Apple had it not been for Tim Cook. I have loved his decisions. I have loved what he did with the company. Yeah. I am a big fan of Tim Cook's, and I am scared to death because I like him so much. And I don't know this other guy. Maybe he's lovely too. But I am such a fan of Tim Cook, and I just would hate to see him go.
Jill, the emotions you're feeling right now, this is exactly what the old school Apple people were feeling when Steve Jobs was out.
Yeah. Wait, the first time or the second time?
The second time.
Okay.
And everyone was like, well, I love everything Tim's been doing. I can't imagine what this company is going to be like without him. And so I will share with you what I shared with people that were expressing those concerns with me over Steve Jobs. No company is made by a single person. And if a company's success is predicated on that one person being there, that company will not survive. And Apple has always had good succession plans. No, Apple has had good succession plans ever since Steve Jobs came back. And that's continuing now. So things will be different, but it'll be okay. But I totally get why you don't want Tim to go.
You don't want him to go. I have to say, though, I have watched even my own companies. I was in a startup. The next guy wasn't as good, in the company I used to work at. Microsoft shifted streams entirely when Bill Gates left. I mean, I have seen more than a handful of companies just dissolve based on, and hopefully Tim picks a good guy. I trust, that Tim is picking a good guy, but I have seen too many companies go down the tubes after their next person. Although I don't think Apple's going down the tubes, but
to be fair, when he retires, he's retiring as CEO, not moving away from Apple, because he's supposed to just go to board of directors.
Yeah.
If he's and the board of directors, he'll be able to keep his fingers in the pies.
Yeah, the comment about Turnus is 50 years old and he'll have plenty of years ahead of him. There's no guarantee of that.
Yeah.
True. Buses go by that building every single day.
Yep.
Any one of them could hit them.
But you have a bad sales year, then the board gets antsy, and I mean, not even just thinking about the bus going by, but there's a board vote out there.
John Scully. Sorry, excuse me.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't think this is going to be a Scully problem. And this is a really good time to try and do this kind of shifting around because, we've got an OS update year where there's not going to be a lot of changes because they're trying to finish kind of fixing and refactoring from last year's changes. I think having somebody familiar with design is going to be really good because that needs a lot of help. So I'm kind of looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So are you, Jill, saying Apple is doomed?
No, and in fact, I think it's good that Tim picked this person because I don't know this guy, and maybe you guys do, but I just worry because I'm such a fan now, and like you said, you all felt this way back in the Steve Jobs era, and I get that, but I don't know. I trust no one.
Also, keep in mind,
Am I real? Am I AI?
or are you Memorex?
Remind me.
That dates us. Jill, also keep in mind that while some of us are waxing poetic about Turnus taking over, this is a rumor that he will take over. There's been
Right.
no confirmation from Apple
Nope.
that that's going to
No, I
happen.
don't want
It's
anybody.
the Germinator.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Germinator.
Nobody. I want nobody to take over. I want Tim Cook to work and then clone himself and make another Tim Cook.
Yeah, but
We
then
thought that was Steve
he'll be
Jobs.
really little.
I just said Steve Jobs. Yeah. Anyway,
Like Foundation.
let's go ahead and see where everybody can be found from our show. Thanks for being here, listening, and let's see where people can be found. And let me start with Jill McKinley. Where can we find you, Jill?
Well, thanks. You can all find everything I do at jillfromthenorthwoods.com. I have 4 podcasts, and all 4 of them are on YouTube as well.
Good. Excellent. Thanks for being Joe. We're always appreciative of you being part of the show. And Marty Jencius, where can people find you?
Find me at, you can find the work that I do at thepodtalk.net. And Monday nights on Vision Profiles with Eric and Dave. Tuesdays with Chuck Joyner on Mac Voices. Thursdays here on In Touch with iOS. Friday mornings on the Mac Show. But there are a lot of other podcasts I got my fingers in. So check them out at thepodtalk.net.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Marty. Jeff Gamet, thank you always for being here, even though you don't know time zones.
Time zone
what can
math
people
is
find you?
really hard. And I want to point out that if I had done my time zone math correctly, or if it had aligned with what I thought it was, we would just be 15 minutes into the show now. So, all right, when I'm not trying to figure out how to read a clock, I'm Jay Gamet on the social medias, mostly active on Mastodon and PixelFit and Blue Sky right now. Then for shows, Tuesdays for Chuck Joyner's Mac Voices Live. Here, Dave with you for In Touch with iOS. British Tech Network, The Big Show, and The Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Eric Bolden with your eagle. That's a beautiful picture you got there. The blue sky. That was a beautiful shot you got there. Where can people find you?
Yeah, it was a clear, crisp day today, and
Yeah,
will be even crisper tomorrow.
it will.
I can be found on Mastodon at EABOLDEN at MAS.TO, which is where I normally park all the pictures. Otherwise, Mondays on Vision Profiles with...
My name's Marty, Eric.
My name's Dave.
Guy.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those weeks, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
thank you. Luckily, I moved the mouse and it tells me who I am, so eventually I get it right. Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live, Thursdays here with In Touch with iOS. By the time I get to the end of the week, I've covered all my OSs. And
Yes, you have.
yeah, so it works well.
Great. Thank you, Eric. And last but certainly not least, the one, the only, Mr. Guy Serle. How you doing, and where can people find you?
Welcome to Jencius Park. You can find me on the G-Men Show, which is available on most of the podcast aggregators out there, along with Gazmaz and occasional guests. The email for the show is gmenshow@icloud.com. I am Mac Parrot and Vert Shark over on the Twacksters, and also on the Skies of Blue. I am Vert Shark over there on YouTube, where I have close to 700 videos up there now. And we have a Google Voice number that you can call and say all kinds of mean and nasty things about me, or Gaz, but usually it's me. It's 703-828-4677. It is a Google Voice number, so you will need to dial a 1 if you're outside of the United States, and you will incur charges. So figure out some other way to get a hold of us.
There you go.
How it works.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at In Touch with iOS. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers able to support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we're live streaming. And that's on YouTube at youtube.com/intouchwithios. And it's Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And you can listen to the past live streams and also can listen to past shows. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, many others. But better yet, go to our website, which is intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways are there to be had. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Vision Profiles on Monday nights with Marty and Eric. Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner and the crew, most of the crew here, all the crew here, actually. No, not Jill. We got to get Jill on Mac Voices Live. You also can find me on Thursdays here, as well as on Fridays on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. And that's a lot. But I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be with this great crew that we have on this show. But it's time to wrap up here, and until next time, thanks again for listening, for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.